Unitarian Church in Montreal. He's by no means the only one. His wife is also a hypocrite, and in some ways a worse hypocrite in the sense that she is a religious leader who makes a total mockery of everything that Unitarian Universalism claims to believe in. Makes a total mockery of Unitarian Universalist principles that call for justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Makes a total mockery of the Unitarian Universalism's fourth principle, which calls for a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, and so on and so forth. And she's complicit in the total mockery of Unitarian Universalist ideals, which is the centuries-old tradition. She's complicit in the violation of the centuries-old tradition of opposing blasphemy laws. That's what Reverend Diane Roller's complicit in. The Unitarian Universalist Association, in falsely accusing me of the criminal act of blasphemous libel, and falsely accusing me of violating Canada's blasphemy law, in legal bullying, seeking to hide pedophilia and rape committed by Unitarian Universalists, broke a centuries-old tradition of opposing blasphemy laws that Unitarians and Universalists and Unitarian Universalists held right up until Friday, June 1st of 2012, when they broke with tradition by falsely accusing me of the criminal act of blasphemous libel. So that tradition ended Friday, June 1st of 2012. So it's been 5 years and 6 months and 2 days since the Unitarian Universalist tradition of opposing blasphemy laws came to an ignominious end when I received in my email inbox a cease and desist demand letter drafted by Stikeman Elliott Barristers and Solicitors litigation lawyer Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe, in which he said, "Your unfounded and vicious allegations to the effect that ministers of the association engage in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape are defamatory." And he went on to say that these allegedly unfounded and vicious allegations were so defamatory that they constitute the criminal act of blasphemous libel against the Unitarian Universalist religious community. So right there in that letter, the tradition of opposing blasphemy laws ended. So it actually ended, when they first started planning that, because this didn't just come out of the blue. This wasn't something. I don't think Kathleen K. Montgomery phoned up Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe on December 1st of 2012 and said, "Maitre Coulombe, I want you to draft a demand letter accusing Rob and Edgar of the criminal act of blasphemous libel, so he shuts up about our pedophiles and rapists." I'm sure there was a certain amount of planning that went into that beforehand. Very poor planning, because it's insane to falsely accuse someone of violating Canada's blasphemy law to hide pedophilia and rape. But no doubt about it, there had to have been some weeks, if not some months, of planning and so on to do this. So basically, the tradition of opposing blasphemy laws ended when Kathleen K. Montgomery and Reverend Dr. Peter Morales and other Unitarian Universalist Association leaders started or decided that, this is what we're going to do. We're going to accuse Rob and Edgar of blasphemous libel for blogging about our pedophiles and rapists. That's what happened, but officially, at least, in terms of the actual date of the actual demand letter that falsely accused me of blasphemous libel, it was June 1st. Did I get the date wrong earlier? It was June 1st of 2012. And so today, as I said, is just 5.5 years and 2 days since that tradition was broken. And it's still being broken, because I told Sue Montgomery that as long as she doesn't withdraw her false libel accusation against me, she's accusing me of libel, and I'll be falsely accusing me of libel. The same principle applies to the blasphemous libel accusation that the Unitarian Universalist Association brought against me. I told Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe and all of the top-level leadership of the Unitarian Universalist Association in probably my first response, but certainly in some follow-up ones, that's my position. You've accused me falsely of blasphemous libel, and I will consider you to be accusing me of blasphemous libel until such a time as you formally withdraw the accusation, and they haven't formally withdrawn it. So as far as I'm concerned, they're still accusing me. They won't take it to court because they know they'll lose badly. They probably won't even get a prosecutor to prosecute the case, but if it somehow managed to get to court, and I think that's almost impossible now because I think Canada repealed its blasphemy law, or is at least in the process of repealing it. So it's like pretty well impossible now for them to have me charged with blasphemous libel because the law is on its way out if it hasn't already been fully repealed. You know, if we go back 5, 4, 3 years, however many years, where they could have, because the law was still on the books and everything, you know, if they'd gone to a Crown prosecutor, or let's say if they'd gone to the police, let's say if they'd gone to the SPVM and said that we want you to arrest Robin Edgar and have him charged with the criminal act of blasphemous libel because he is making unfounded and vicious allegations to the effect that ministers of the Unitarian Universalist Association engage in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. That would be making a false report to the police. That would be a criminal act known as public mischief, because my allegations about Unitarian Universalist pedophiles and rapists are by no means unfounded and vicious, as Maitre Marc-André Coulombe falsely alleged. They were very, very truthful allegations. I was trying to protect myself from being accused of libel or slander by blogging only about cases where people had been charged, tried, and convicted and sentenced to jail terms and spent time in jail for such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. Because I didn't want anyone to be able to say, oh, you're making false accusations about us. You know, I mean, I knew about other cases. I knew about other cases actually, you know, which were very, very solid, but I didn't have as much information about. You know, these were two cases that had quite a bit of information available about them, either on the internet or on newspaper databases that you can get in university libraries and so on. So these were two cases that I blogged about where there were, you know, fairly substantial number of newspaper reports that reported in considerable detail what happened. And so I blogged about those cases so that nobody could accuse me of slander or libel, but some morons at the Unitarian Universalist Association decided that they wouldn't just accuse me of ordinary libel, but they'd actually accuse me of the criminal act of blasphemous libel. Brilliant, brilliant. So, aren't we having fun today? We're quite enjoying this protest, quite enjoy having video evidence of David Rollert falsely accusing me of blocking the sidewalk when I'm actually not. Yes, half of the sidewalk was blocked somewhat by my picket sign, but the other half, or at least the other third at minimum, was fully open and people could easily walk around me. You know, if I'm on the sidewalk, and I have to be on the sidewalk to protest, I'm blocking a portion of it at some point in time. So I wasn't really blocking any more of the sidewalk than I do when I'm standing alone by myself. If I'm alone by myself, I'm blocking, well, maybe, let's see, let's do the experiment here. Let's be scientific about this. So if I'm standing alone and I'm on the outer edge, yeah, maybe there's 75% of sidewalk available. But I'm blocking the sidewalk. You know, technically I'm blocking part of the sidewalk, but I have every right to block part of the sidewalk. You know, that's part of being on the sidewalk. Look at all these people blocking the sidewalk. Look at them all. They're just totally blocking it. You know, and that's the funny thing too, is you know, Unitarian Universalists have, bonjour. So I have a feeling this may be the Syrian refugees that the Unitarian Church of Montreal is sponsoring, coming to have some kind of ceremony or something. Anyhow, getting back to getting back to the whole issue of false accusations, including really petty ones like the one David Rollert is guilty of today, which is extremely hypocritical when one considers that he hasn't spoken out against sexual abuse of children by Unitarian Universalist ministers and Unitarian Universalist Sunday school teachers, and has even tried to keep that concealed by erasing my chalk slogans and no doubt participating in complaints to the SPVM to try and shut down this protest. Yeah, it's pretty pathetic, David. Huge amount of hypocrisy. That's what I wanted to get at. Just incredible two-faced hypocrisy. And yeah, as far as blocking the sidewalk goes, you know, even if I have a picket sign, you know, down like this because I'm talking to someone or something, there's still plenty of sidewalk left for people to walk by me. So at most I'm blocking the sidewalk maybe a third more than I am just standing on it. So yeah, you're basically full of shit, David. Excuse me for being rude, but yes, you're a fraud, you're a liar. You're just an idiot, quite frankly, to even make that accusation. Excuse me for expressing my opinion that I have every right to express according to the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, David. Like, oh yeah, I'm laughing again. Fucking hilarious, this whole thing. There's definitely a humorous aspect to it. I guess it's got to do with dealing with fools. Oh, did I just express my opinion again? Oh dear, file a human rights complaint. What a bunch of idiots. Oh, moral morons, that's a good term. Moral morons. Yeah, I think moral moron would be a pretty good word to describe David Rollert. You know? You know, on the one hand, he thinks that I'm guilty of blocking the sidewalk to children. You know, what a terrible, terrible crime, blocking the sidewalk for children, except I'm doing no such thing. And they ran right by me and didn't complain at all. Dave was the only one who complained about me allegedly blocking the sidewalk from children. And here's this guy basically keeping silent about Unitarian Universalist ministers